everyone! So, I thought Rockman6 was going to stand as my Mega Man hack of the year, but this week some serious shit went way down. Now in the past decade, we've seen some pretty freaking cool hacks of like some N64 games. We have new hacks of Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, and yet, even though hackers are moving on to the N64, there have been so precious few decent quality Super NES hacks, outside a couple of random Mario World and some Mario Kart hacks, and the occasional different Super Metroid game. So this week something amazing happened. Pure Sabe dropped Rockman7EP, and it by and large is a completely brand new experience that builds off of the original Rockman 7 engine, but does some amazing different stuff with it. Now, before I dig into that, I want to take a second and talk about the lost potential of Mega Man 7. It's a fact that a lot of people take for granted and even forget, but Mega Man 6 and Mega Man X actually came out in the same year. And hell, for that fact, the US release of Mega Man 6 barely even came out. It had to be forced out by Nintendo, who was desperate to get some new NES games. And if we're getting really real about it, Mega Man 6 actually came out after Mega Man X, at least in the US. Now, Mega Man X2 came out after that, and then from what I can tell, in literally the 3 short months after the release of Mega Man X2, the team at Capcom put together Mega Man 7 completely from scratch after that. And Mega Man 7 has always gotten a bad rap, in my opinion. Now, it directly continues the story from Mega Man 6, and it brings everything up to date with these amazing 16-bit graphics. And it by and large continues all the traditions that the NES Mega Man series had established, but does them better and more interesting looking. However, when it first came out back in 1990 whatever, Mega Man 7, it just got snubbed really bad. Like, Capcom almost didn't even release the game because Mega Man 6 had sold so badly. But there was absolutely strong fan pressure, and finally they caved to the jaded 90s gamers. But then the jaded 90s gamers were all like, what the fuck? This isn't my Mega Man X2. Where's my Polygon Sigma head? Where's my wall dash? And that's kind of the lost potential of Mega Man 7. Because Mega Man 7 was the only game to ever use the Mega Man 7 engine. Now, you got Rockman, the Power Battles, and Power Fighters after that, and they get a nice try here for reusing some of the sprites and assets, and updating a very large number of the old Robot Masters to be seen in this art style. But somehow after this, the next game, Mega Man 8, had a completely new art style again. And honestly, I didn't like that, because Mega Man 7's art style graciously translated the Mega Man NES art style and kept its speed and gameplay intact on a one-for-one basis. Whereas Mega Man 8 did not. Mega Man 8 was clunky and slow, and Mega Man acted like he was made out of Play-Doh all of a sudden. And then, to add insult to injury, there was one more Mega Man game that came out on the NES, and that also utilized the art style from Mega Man 8. But the sound effects from Mega Man 7. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that today. I don't have time for that. So, that brings us back to Rockman7EP, a brand new Super NES Mega Man game, released in the year of our Lord 2020. And as an unofficial brand new Mega Man game utilizing the Mega Man 7 engine, it pushes it to its limit. And by God does it push it. I was provided a copy of this ROM by the local ROM hack collector Insect Duels Domain, who I've met in real life, and he owes me money for going out to dinner with me and then leaving without paying his part of the check on what ended up being a $100 dinner. But I want to say that Rockman7EP is a fucking miracle. It's the first Rockman hack ever, and it delivers a brand new fucking story, brand new fucking gameplay, brand new fucking missions. It has absolutely genius homages to the other Rockman games, other 1990s Super Nintendo games, and just everything about it is fucking brilliant. Rockman7EP hits this weird tone where the game's difficulty is somehow harder than Rockman 7, but also easier at the same time. Because it's overall a harder game, but what makes it easier is the fact that you can get other E-tanks and like all the life-saving items super easy. They're like given out like cupcakes. And that really tweaks the gameplay so much. So over the course of the game, I started out by popping one E-Tank a stage, but then by the time I reached the Wily Stages, I was actually starting to realize that the game is actually about conserving E-Tanks. That's kind of part of playing the game. So anyway, like I said, this game is not hard at all. I beat this game in 3 hours, which I slowly played over the course of 3 days on my Super Nintendo Classic, which ran the game perfectly. Also, even though this game mostly recycles the Mega Man 7 soundtrack, it somehow recontextualizes it really hard. And that being said, the song that in the original Mega Man 7 was Turbo Man's theme, in Rockman7EP, it gets used as like an all-encompassing crisis music that plays in almost every stage. And now I kind of love it because I heard it so much. And now spoilers ahead, because I just have to gush about everything that was wonderful in this game, everything that worked, and everything I encountered, because man, this was such a positive and fun experience for me. Also, disclaimer ahead, since I played this game on my SNES Classic, I don't have footage of myself playing the game. So I'm borrowing some footage from some speedrunners who I found online, and these speedrunners made a complete mockery of this game, because apparently they found a way to use Turbo Man's burning body weapon, and I had no clue about this, but they are spamming it in such a way that they have essentially become invincible. And I never got that weapon to work for me when I played the game. I thought the burning body weapon was only useful for boiling large bodies of water, so I'm just going to call this like it is. I think they hacked the hack. But anyway, so when I played this game, I started playing on Junkman stage. And Junkman stage, as I knew in the original game, it was a little bit tweaked. Like, it was similar to the original, but the original Junkman stage was kind of an electric junkyard haunted house stage with a little bit of lava here and there. But for this reimagination, it's now a full-on fire stage with lava everywhere, mecha zombies falling into the lava. It gives it a scrapyard feel, and it makes it feel more like the Flame Mammoth stage from Mega Man X, if I have to be real. And then at the end of the stage, Junkman himself has had his AI tweaked, and he's still pretty easy, but because his behaviors have changed, he fights like more of a brawler. He fights honestly a little bit like M. Bison from Street Fighter, so he was definitely more serious than the full-on joke he used to be. And then from here on out, I decided to tackle the stages on the board by either going up or down in a clockwise direction. So on my second stage, I went to Shade Man. Shade Man's stage was a very, very on-the-nose homage to Castlevania 1, and there was nothing too crazy to write home about here, although the pumpkin mini-boss in the middle of the stage was supercharged and very annoying to kill. And then in a weird twist at the end of the stage, when you actually fight Shade Man himself, he fights you underwater. And I'm guessing this had something to do with the fact that Shade Man likes to fight with sonar. Either way, the fact it was underwater actually made it feel like an easier fight than the normal Shade Man fight. And then after that, I hit up Burst Man. Now, I'm going to say Burst Man, his stage is probably the stage with the least changes from its original stage structure. To me, it felt like almost the same stage, although there are a few twists. The crab mini-boss in the middle of the stage is now this epic free-flowing battle, and by and large, you can now kind of swim through the water in the stage, so it feels a little bit more like Aquaman's stage from Mega Man 8. After that, I continued clockwise, and I did Turbo Man stage. Now, Turbo Man stage is a little bit more like Quickman's stage than it used to be, and it also has some different music going on. I thought this was Quickman's music, but it definitely isn't, although it has kind of similar tones. Maybe it's another track from MM7, I can't remember. But anyway, since this hack eliminated the intro stage of MM7, the Steamroller boss shows up here, and he just gets wrecked. There's also another annoying underwater part of the stage, where you have to trudge your way through motor oil that you can't swim through. And then near the end of the stage, this motor oil gets set on fire, and that continues this dangerous Quickman Memorial theme that the stage has going on. Also, this is the first stage that I ran into that has this crazy vehicle scene. near the end of the stage, you actually get to drive the bulldozer truck from the original Turbo Man stage. And that feels so awesome. It's like a little bit like the jet ski scene in Wave Man and Mega Man 5, but it's freaking cool. Then Turbo Man himself, he fights pretty much just like a more aggressive Turbo Man. Nothing really to write home about. So I decided to mix up my order after that, and I went the other way to Slash Man stage. Now, Slash Man stage in the original game was a 10-minute long Jurassic Park joke, and it kind of still is, but I will say that in the way he added Quickman elements to Turbo Man stage, it feels like he added Woodman elements to Slash Man stage. And then it has this nice little river section, which is pretty cool. And the big T-Rex mini-boss is still here, except he's a lot tougher. But on the flip side, I did not know this, but apparently you can blow up his legs and instantly kill him. So that's pretty cool. And then after that, there's another awesome chase scene where you ride a dinosaur. And I don't know what this is referencing, but to me, it felt like Super Mario World. And that was so awesome. Like, there's some very nice touches in this game, and when you beat this dinosaur section, Mega Man hugs the dinosaur and lets him go. That's awesome. Now, Slash Man, as far as I could tell, was the only boss that fought exactly the same way as he did in the normal game. So then after that, I moved on to Freeze Man. Freeze Man and the next two Robot Masters after him all did the old house swap trick. So Freeze Man is doing a takeover of Cloud Man's old stage. But this hack has the best fucking surprises for you. So first things first, there's this section on the Rush Jet that is literally the jump, jump, slide, slide thing from Mega Man 8. But that's not the only Mega Man 8 reference, because right after that, you immediately enter combat with the truck mini-boss from Turbo Man stage, except now it's an airship, and it kind of feels like the airship in Tengu Man stage in Mega Man 8. And then as you get slowly closer to Freeze Man, there's this steady buildup of more and more snow inside the stage that just gets thicker and thicker. Now there's a second jump jump slide area after that, but this time it's on water and you have the ability to switch from being on top of the water or inside the water. And then Freeze Man has one of the best surprises in the game for you, because when you finally get to his room at the end, it's not the room you're expecting to see. It's freaking Flash Man's room. And just because this is something that could happen, it does. Freeze Man now full-on fights with Flash Man's battle pattern. Although this seems like a one-off quirk in the game though, because anytime after that where I had to refight Freeze Man, he fought more like classic Freeze Man. So anyway, enjoy this one fight with Flash Freeze Man. Now, moving on to the next stage, there was Cloud Man. And for the record, in the original MM7, Cloud Man is my favorite Robot Master. I think he has a lot of crazy things going on for him, and I love the fact he has this like Buddhist sky god appearance, and he just flies around like as free as he wants to be. Anyway, Cloud Man has hijacked Spring Man stage, but it's been completely remixed to take some elements from Cloud Man stage in Mega Man 8, complete with having the Proto Cloud Man mini-boss, but then it also has some really, really subtle references thrown in that makes it feel like it's referencing the Kirby series. Like there's this really cool section where you walk through a giant cloud, and that's hardcore. Now, the new Cloud Man seems to fight really brutally, although, funny enough, you can avoid most of his attacks by standing under him. Now, I was pretty strong at this point, so I managed to beat him without much of an effort. Now, the last Robot Master I fought going around the board was Spring Man, who I hate. Spring Man is my least favorite Robot Master in Mega Man 7. I just think he's a dork. Now, fascinatingly, in Rockman7EP, he has taken over Freeze Man stage, and everything is completely different, because now it is springtime. Get it? Springtime. Yeah, Pure Saiyan got really punny when it came to Spring Man. Anyway, the special section in this stage is a mini recreation of freaking Bramble Scramble from Donkey Kong Country 2. And I felt that reference so hard because you got the bird, you got the brambles, you got the bees. Now, it could use some synth-pop music, but otherwise, that was such a weird thing for me because I know when I was a kid, I played Donkey Kong Country 2, and Mega Man 4 in probably the same month. So anyway, after the Bramble Scramble section, you get this spiffy section where you fight the Polar Bear mini-boss from Freeze Man stage, but he's had his AI adjusted, so he fights in the style of the Mega Man 2 Mecha Wolf. And then the second part of Springman stage is this gigantic hot spring. Get it? Hot spring? I told you Pure Save had all these puns. Anyway, it gets really intense for a while because you're stuck inside this giant bubble, and the only way you can control the bubble is by shooting your gun. But yeah, then Springman himself also fights you in a hot spring. He's Hot Springman now. Anyway, I humiliated him to death by boiling the water in the hot spring with my burning body attack, and that is how he died. Kids, you should never enter a hot bathtub. It could kill you. So now we come to the Wily stages, and I somehow totally missed this in my first playthrough, but in Wily 1, there's a series of roads you can go down to, and if you go down through all these 4 roads, you unlock the Rush Armor. Now, ironically, I did not figure this out when I played the stage, because I thought, based on the clues I was being given, the stage had alternate endings. And ironically, I chose the path that went straight to the canonical ending of the stage. And that really sucks because it looks like I missed out on this really supercharged version of the Rush Armor that functions more like the Ultimate Armor from Mega Man X4. Anyway, the boss here is still Super Guts Man, except this time you have to fight 2 of him at the same time. Okay, sure. So anyway, then we come to the second Wily stage. Now the second Wily stage is another stage that's vibing hard on Mega Man 8. At the end of Mega Man 8, there was a Wily stage where Wily attacked you with a giant airship, and you had to shoot it down while riding the Rush Jet. And this stage is pretty much a remix/recreation of that, except it's also way more long and it's way more tedious. Now, I'm going to speed up the footage here so you can see how long this took me to get through, but the boss near the end, well, first there's a typical Wily Fortress wall boss, and then after that you have to escape the airship, and then after that there is another boss in the form of the 3-headed turtle tank. Now the third Wily stage is pretty unique. This whole time you're being chased by the Demon Wily Machine sub-boss, and if you're not fast enough, it'll catch up to you and kill you. And there's also this amazing sequence in the middle of the stage that riffs off the Dolphin World from the beginning of Super Mario World. Anyway, this stage is fucking long and grueling, and you end up having to fight and kill the Demon Machine close to like 6 times. In fact, the last 2 times you kill it, it's actually already dead, and it's turned into a ghost, which leads into such a classic Mega Man fake-out ending that ghosts aren't real. Now, after that, Wily 4 is the teleporter room, but it's been redesigned to be super fast and kind of sexy. You fight all the Robot Masters in this pre-selected order with no breaks, and it's completely hard and brutal. But then at the end of it, you also go straight into fighting Wily. Now, Wily actually isn't so bad in this act. Since your weapons are stronger, he actually comes off a little bit weaker than normal, at least at first. But what trips you up after that is when you fight his UFO. It goes into this insane aerial mode 7 battle, and it's so fucking hardcore, man. Like, I'm not sure what happened, but in my play of the game, like, my start menu got nerfed, and I had to access this weird secondary menu to whip out E-tanks. And then there's this secondary phase of the UFO battle where Dr. Wily hacks Mega Man's weapon system and tries to kill him by overloading it. And if you suck up too many weapon power-ups, then yeah, Mega Man overloads and explodes. But he's weak to the spring hammer in this phase, so all you have to do is hammer him to death to avoid this traumatic ending. But then after that, you still have to stop Wily another time. So this is like a 6-round fight. And finally, when you fight Wily, you would think that's it, except he actually turns the table and manages to defeat you and all your friends. So that brings you to the true final level of the game, the EP, which is set in the Robot Master Museum stage, which again, my favorite stage in Mega Man 7, because here you get to see all the old Robot Masters hanging out. And I was really stoked to actually see it utilized for the final battle. Now, anyway, this final battle is a completely grueling, brutal gauntlet-style stage. You literally have to fight every single enemy in the game over again, one by one. And after a few minutes, your friends come out to try and help you fight them, and they'll give you support for the room you're stuck in. I thought this was a cool idea, but honestly, the stage drags so much. It took me close to half an hour to fight my way through this stage, because every little fight here was just so fucking tedious. You have to fight every single mini-boss in the game. And then after that, you have to defeat all of the robot masters again, except they're coming out of hologram projectors. And then you actually have to fight all 9 of them at the same time. And it's completely fucking chaotic. So then, at the very, very end of the game, Proto Man shows up. And he gives you this ultimate power, which apparently is the power of money. Screw the rules, I have money. Now you need this because the final boss in the game is actually Bass, who had not shown up by now.
Hey, Bass!
But he's been souped up to the extreme, and he fights you in like the worst form of bullet hell. But luckily, you're invincible for this fight, because apparently you have infinite money. So you have to fight Bass again, and you have to fight him over 3 rounds. And the challenge here is just shooting Bass without dying, except you can't die, but all the same, if you die, it'll slow you down. And then after that, you get a typical Mega Man 7 ending, except the music is more of a ballad remix of some classic Mega Man 1 songs. And then finally, the game brings you to its final interesting twist. So apparently, all through this game, the game has actually been logging a bunch of micro information about how you played the game and what the player did over the course of their run. And it comes up with all these stats, and it puts them together in this like financial damage report about Wily and Mega Man's latest fight. Because apparently the EP in the title actually stands for economic power. Because apparently Wily's wholesale urban destruction is good for the economy. Who the hell knew? So that, ladies and gentlemen, is Rockman7EP. And by God, did it ever feel good. If you love Mega Man, you have to play this hack tomorrow. It delivers a brand new Mega Man 7 experience that just builds on the complete history of the Mega Man franchise, the general lost nostalgia of the Super NES era. However, I will say, if you're more of a casual NES gamer who maybe hasn't played the original Mega Man 7, or maybe you like Mega Man 7 but you don't like the SNES, I'm going to tell you to hold off a little bit. Because even though this hack is so good, and it has great momentum behind it, there's a really, really strong chance that right now, as popular as it is, an English translation for it might be out within this year, if you think you can wait. Now, I do think that a little bit of the game was lost on me because I think there was some pretty funny shit going on that I didn't just get to experience because the game's text was all in Japanese, and it flew by really fast. Now, that being said, there's also a lot more text in this game than the original Mega Man 7, so it might take a while to get a translation done. I'm pretty sure there is a group of people actively working on it. Anyway, that's all I have to say about this right now, but are you guys into ROM hacks? There's some more Pokemon ROM hacks I'd like to review if I had the time. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. It came out pretty long in the end, but I did have a lot to say about it. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel because I'm going to release another video the next time there's an awesome Mega Man hack, at least as good as this one, or at least that makes me stop what I'm doing and play it. I'm sure that's going to happen either next year or maybe sooner, because you never know when something substantial like this is going to drop in the Mega Man community. Anyway, thanks guys, it's been real. I'll be around later. Thanks.